market. So before we start Dendimer, we should know what is nanotechnology. As we know that around 10 or 15 years back, we are very much excited about the microparticles. So now, after more in research, now we are in the nanotechnology. What is nanotechnology? Reduce the particle size. Like as we know that most of the dosage form are like tablet, capsules. So tablet, capsules, they are conventional dosage form. What is dosage form? If we want to deliver a drug inside the body. If you deliver a plain drug inside the body, sometimes what happens, it is difficult to deliver. For example, right now we are talking by phone. So by phone, we can talk from one country to another country because we need something delivery media. So similarly, to deliver a drug, we need some dosage form by which we can deliver our drug. So you are already familiar with the tablet and capsule because they are most commonly used dosage form. If we go further for more advanced nanocarrier, so you might be heard about nanoparticles. So similarly to nanoparticle is one of the nanoparticle. Like other, there are many type of nanoparticle. So dendrimer is one of them. So what is dendrimer? So dendrimer, the word dendrimer, it is made up of Greek word dendros and meros. So dendros means tree-like structure. If you see the structure of dendrimer, you can see it look like tree-like structure. So that is why the name is given dendrimer. So dendrimer, they are three-dimensional synthetic, highly branched polymeric monodispersed system with well-defined biocompatibility and spherical. They have particle sizes between from 1 to 10 nanometer. There are various types of dendrimer. You can see in this slide there are a number of dendrimer types, but most commonly used dendrimers are PAMAM and polyamyloamine dendrimer. PAMAM, in short we can say PAMAM, PAMAM. So they are the most commonly used dendrimer. So how dendrimer they can synthesize? There are various routes. You can see divergent method, convergent method, click chemistry, but most commonly used methods are divergent method as well as convergent method. What is divergent method? In divergent method, we start from core and we grow further to increase the generation. So this is typical structure of dendrimer. If you can see, there is a core. So dendrimer, it has mainly three parts. First is core, then branching unit, and then surface peripheral amine group. So the core, inside the core, it is very hydrophobic in nature, and the periphery, it is made up of peripheral amine group. So what is the beauty of dendrimer? That the beauty of dendrimer is that in one shot you can load both type of drug, hydrophilic as well as hydrophobic drug. So that is the biggest advantage using dendrimer, that in one shot we can load hydrophilic as well as hydrophobic drug. So but the amount of drug loading can vary depending upon the type of nature of drug. If you want to load hydrophobic drug, the amount of loading will be very high. You can load up to 50 to 80% drug. However, if you want to load hydrophilic drug, you can conjugate with the surface amine group, but the loading is comparatively lower as compared to hydrophobic drug. So now, what are the various applications of dendrimer? So dendrimer not only can useful in drug delivery, but they can also useful in gene delivery, and ocular delivery, oral delivery, transdermal delivery. They have huge application. So dendrimer can be used for various applications. Now might be you are thinking, what is the route of administration of dendrimer? So yes, dendrimer, most commonly they are given by IV route, but IV route is not only the single route. They can also be given by various routes like IV, intramuscular, transdermal, ophthalmic as well as oral. If you see this figure, this is our recent publication in which what we did, we apply the concept of conventional therapy as well as novel technology. Like what we did, firstly we load the drug inside the dendrimer, and then we lyophilize the powder, and then we punch into the tablet. So by that we combine the concept of nanotechnology as well as conventional tablet technology, and then we prepare albendazole tablet, which showed very good activity for the treatment of GIT infection. Might be you are thinking, how drug release pattern from dendrimer? So if you see this figure, might be you know what is minimum effective concentration and what is maximum safe concentration. So if you see this yellow graph, this is from conventional dosage form. So what happens? The drug release will go up to the maximum safe concentration, then it will go down, then it will further increase. So what happened? There is a fluctuation. But what is the advantage with dendimer? If you load the drug inside the dendimer, so it will maintain sustained drug release pattern. So you do not need to give multiple dose every time. You just give one dendimer formulation, it can release the drug up to 3 days or 4 days. So we do not need to give multiple dose of drugs. So by that approach, we can reduce the toxicity of our formulation. So what is the effect of pH on dendimer? If you can see that dendimer, because they have amine group on its surface, so definitely the drug release can be affected by various pH. So if you go to acidic pH, so at pH 4, you see this slide, this table. So at pH 4, dendimer get protonated. However, if you go to alkaline pH, they get deprotonated. So what is the advantage of this? As we know that tumor cells, they have acidic environment. So because of that acidic environment, when we inject dendimer formulation, so they get protonated. So because they protonated, they repel to each other and drug molecule came easily out and it produced its anti-cancer effect. Might be your thing. So what happened if you see that this graph at the graph B will show the drug release at acidic environment, and graph A show drug release at acidic environment, graph B show drug release at alkaline environment. So what happened at acidic environment, because of that protonation, that all the drug released from all the formulation within 8 or 10 hours. However, when we go for alkaline pH, the drug release can be sustained up to 48 hours. So how means, thus might be next question in your mind, does dendimer helps in tumor localization and endosomal escape? So as we know, EPR effect. What is EPR effect? It's enhanced permeation and retention effect. So because dendimer, they have particle size between 1 to 10 nanometers. So because of their nanometric size, they can easily penetrate with the space or leaky vasculature available on the tumor site. So yes, dendimer can localize into the tumor. And how they do endosomal escape. Because of their protonation, they release the drug and they can do endosomal escape. Yeah, the main concern with dendimer, everything, we know that every coin has two sides. So similarly, dendimer, they have lots of advantage, but there is one problem with dendimer, because they have surface NH2 groups, that is positive in charge. So because of that positive charge, dendimer also produce toxicity. But so yes, dendimer, they are toxic in nature. If you see this slide, that the toxicity of dendimer is very high, 86%, 49%, 18%. But yes, we do not need to worry. There are various ways, like surface engineering, by which we can reduce the toxicity. If you see that table on the right side, that the hemolytic toxicity can be reduced up to 4.9% and up to 2.2%, which is acceptable. So what are various ways by we can reduce the toxicity? It is called as surface engineering. We can load something on the surface of dendimer by which we can reduce the toxicity. So like we can do folate conjugation, we can do surface coating by galactose, we can put some pegylation. What is pegylation? Put PEG on the surface of dendimer, that is called pegylation. So there are various ways by which we can reduce the toxicity of this dendimer. The biggest advantage of this, because we know that most of the anti-cancer drugs, they are water insoluble. They have the very good activity against cancer, but the biggest challenge that they are insoluble. So we need something by which we can increase the solubility of dendimer. So yes, dendimer is very useful to increase the solubility. If you see this table, we try to increase the solubility of dendimer for number of drugs. So yes, by help of dendimer, we can increase the water solubility. What is pegylation? Putting anything on the surface of dendimer is called pegylation. What is pegylation? Polyethylene glycol. So in this, you see this table, by that we reduce the toxicity up to a significant level using pegylation approach. Dendimer, they are also useful in gene delivery. What is gene delivery? As we know that DNA, RNA molecule, they are very small and they are very fragile, they are very sensitive, so it is very difficult to make a stable compound of gene. So we need some carrier by which we can make gene stable. So because dendrimer they have positive charge, genes they have negative charge. So we make complex that is known as dendriplex, and by dendriplex we can increase the stability of this gene, and we can easily do the gene delivery using this dendrimer. Everybody might be aware about turmeric or curcumin. Especially in India, we take huge amount of curcumin in our food. So curcumin, it is in India especially, you know, if we are suffer from anything, like if we have some wounds, so we put curcumin and, you know, we feel better. If there is any cut, we put curcumin and we feel better. So, you know, curcumin is useful in any treatment of any disease. So similarly, we found the literature that curcumin is also useful for the curcumin also have anti-cancer activity. So what we thought that by so during my postdoc in USA from Wayne State University, we got a very good compound of curcumin that is known as CDF. It is difluorinated curcumin. So our group, they have that CDF molecule. What they told that this compound has very good activity against pancreatic cancer. You know that pancreatic cancer is the most difficult cancer to treat. So, but what they found that it is water insoluble. So, although their compound has very good activity, but it does not make any usefulness. So, they came to us and they asked us, can you please convert it into water soluble compound? So, what we did, we used polymeric micelles, SMA. So, what we did, we prepared polymeric micelles and then we loaded that CDF molecule inside these formulations, and we are successfully able to make water soluble CDF polymeric micelles. And if you see that graph, that nanomycelles, they showed equivalent activity, or we can say much better activity against pancreatic cancer. Then they asked, can you reduce the dose of that CDF? So we told, yes, we can try. So what we did in pancreatic cancer, we know that CD44 receptor are overexpressed. So what we did, we put hyaluronic acid over the surface of that polymeric micelles. So as we know that CD44 receptor, hyaluronic acid receptor can bind to that CD44 receptor. So because of that, we are able to deliver the drug by targeted drug delivery. So by targeted drug delivery, the dose of drug is reduced significantly. Further, we also tried, as I told you, that curcumin has antiseptic activity, anti-inflammatory activity. So what we thought, why not, if this compound CDF is showing good activity in pancreatic cancer, so we can also try this molecule for wound healing. So we prepared that nano patch of curcumin, and that patch also showed very good activity for the treatment of wound.